Namaskar and a very good afternoon from the panel. Uh, we today discuss on the topic from teaching to transformation, rethinking the purpose of education. Before we begin, I think on behalf of the entire panel, I would thank the World Education Congress for giving us this opportunity to come up on the days and to share our thoughts. With that, I'll introduce myself and share a few thoughts as I pass on with my fellow panelists. So I am Professor Dr. Shormishta Chatterjee. I come from West Bengal, and I am professor and head of English at Alia University, which is a state-aided university. And I'm also the Dean of the Faculty of Humanities and Languages. I'll begin the theme with the note that we have been listening to this discussion from the various esteemed speakers since the morning. And one moot point probably we have gathered is that from the very traditional colonial, quote unquote, I would say the colonial paradigm of education which we had been, we have moved on to tomorrow, which we see, which is based on skill-based, ability enhancement-based, value education-based, and AI-aided learning. So it's a long way which we have proceeded from where we thought that the guru or the teacher, although we still speak of the gurus, today is, by the way, Guru Purnima also. So we speak of the gurus, but not in the earlier sense that the gurus are the repertoire of all knowledge, and that what the behavioral school tells us, that the gurus come and they pour the knowledge and the students they absorb the knowledge. It's more about a participatory kind of a learning that we talk about in this entire setup. With this, I think I will request my fellow panelists first to introduce themselves and then take up from where we have begun today.
I'm Dr. Unmekha Tare. I'm Dean at St. Paul Institute of Professional and Management Studies, Indore. I would start with one shloka, that is Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I wish my greetings and regards to each one of us, the gurus, the mentors, the guides. We are actually the torch bearers which we need to transmit. It is assumed that we being the teachers, we are the knowledge transmitters. But actually our theme clearly says that we are the transformers. So our role is not only that academically a student rises, but our role is to guide him or her to rise even ethically and spiritually. Knowing them about our culture, about discipline is needed. Like we say that when the students come to college and we say them that students must be industry ready. They should be ready for the placement. But this is not the goal actually. This shouldn't be the goal. Because we want to make them life ready. And we think that intelligence is one of the most important criteria for proving ourselves when we come to the professional world. But actually, whether he or she is an entrepreneur or a professional doing job somewhere or even a homemaker, we come across situations where one has to show a balance between emotional intelligence or the social quotient, adversary quotient. We need to have a proper mix, because a social mastery to govern our own emotions, like for example, a small example I'll give. decision making, we may take spontaneous decisions or for short time or for longer period of time, but most of our decisions, they are governed by emotions. Either we are too much happy, or either we are feeling dull, we are depressed, and that at that moment we take decisions. Whereas it's needed that when we are at a stage when we are emotionally balanced, we take decisions. And these are certain small things we educators need to teach to students, because only transmitting knowledge will not work, will not help them for their lifetime. There are many guidelines which they will learn only from we being the educators. So this is the topic where I can speak long, but I will hand over the mic to the next panelist. Thank you.
Thank you. I am Dr. Shweta Mishra from Vedic Degree College, Sambalpur, Odisha. It's a land of Ma Samleshwari, and I am really proud and privileged to be a part of this vital discussion that we are having today. Since morning, we have really talked a lot about transformation. Now, this word transformation means a lot. Can transformation happen only by creating jobs for our students? No, I do not agree. Transformation can happen if we transform the students from within. And what is that within? We imbibe those cultures, those values, those beliefs, which is the most important part of our society. And slowly and gradually, it is diminishing. I'm very sorry to say this, but it's a fact. When we ask, when we ask our sons and daughters to touch the feet of their elders, sometimes they don't feel like. Or when we want to make them greet our elders, these are small little things which we may not consider to be important, but it starts from our own homes, from our own schools, from our own colleges. I have taught a subject to my student named Ethics and Values, and another BBA subject, that is Indian Knowledge System. When I was teaching these subjects, I felt that they are the subjects which can be eye-openers for the society. The kinds of social issues that has been discussed in the curriculum is really commendable. So how do we impart these values in our students? Can it be only inside the classrooms? No. I believe that we need to make them do project-based learning. I have done that and it really helped. They have moved out of my classroom. They have actually interviewed people from, the low background, where they have lived with them for one day. They have spent their time with them for one day, and they have come to know that what it takes to be or to lead the life that they are leading. And that teaches them more than anything else. So I feel that our education system should be more of a practical-based learning than simply completing the curriculum. This is what I feel. Thank you so much.
Dr. Shweta, thank you. Before the other co-panelists takes up, so what we gather from here is probably what my panelists are trying to say is that we should move more into, practical-based education, and definitely an education which is value-based. So we also become educators who are guides more, rather than educators who would be in the older sense. And definitely if you look into the education policy, which is now carrying on in the country, NEP 2020, we all know that it not only endorses this value-based education which we are talking about, it also endorses AI-based. So it's a kind of an education which is a holistic idea, a complete idea, where the teacher is a facilitator and a guide rather than the domain of knowledge only. So I think having setting the tone again, if my next co-panelist takes this up.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Rakhi Mukherjee. I head a school and college in Mumbai, Utpal Sangvi Global School and PPS International Junior College. I just want to have a thought out here. I think we are overhyping AI. Now, what exactly is your Chat GPT or Claude AI? As the gentleman very wonderfully spoke, right? It has data. What are we doing as laymen trying to extract data? So if I don't give the right question to AI, I will not get the right answers. I represent Cambridge community of learners. We've been doing Cambridge International for many, many years now. Cambridge talks about metacognition, right? It's all the educators out here would know what's metacognition, asking the right questions. If I can teach my student to stand up and ask the right question and have a right understanding, I think that student will survive whether in India or in any XYZ community. So are we teaching students to be reflective? History can be taught as blank. I know there are lovers of history. Please do not take offense, but history can be taught with a lot of facts and figures. Who died, who conquered, who has, which part of the land belongs to whom. History can also be taught about asking questions. Whose history am I learning? What are the perspectives which are missing in this history which is being given to me? What is the relevance of this history to the current situation? If you see the world outside is in turmoil today, how many of our educators are bringing those concepts into the classroom without keeping the controversy aside and making students reflect? OECD, Organization of Economics Cooperation and Development, has received a latest PISA spotlight. PISA 2025 is going to test agency of Anthropocene in students. It's a very simple concept. Students need to understand what is climate change, but the learning doesn't stop over there. It's going to help students, or rather track students, whether they know how to differentiate facts from panic, what are the kind of reflections getting into the student community who's seeing a narrative or data, and how are they taking action. So my humble appeal to all educators here, because we are in a position where we can guide all the young teachers who are getting into the teaching community, make them think, make them reflect. Gone are the days, I tell my teachers very openly, that if you are only going to deliver content, I would have a Khan Academy in my classroom, or I would have a Google AI in my classroom. I don't need you. If you can teach my students how to get the right answers, how to reflect on the data which is there, when he or she is listening to a bit of news, if my student can be able to differentiate the facts from overhyped situations, he is able to, have a mindset of identifying what is there right for him, I think we have made. As educators, our job is to make students learn for life. So we ourselves as teachers into the education fraternity need to know that how good are we as a learner? Are we ready to accept and tell the whole world, yes, I don't know it, let's learn together. If I am having that kind of attitude, that's the teacher I employ, ma'am, and that's my thought. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Mukherjee. Yes, what Dr. Mukherjee was harping on, as we all get, is she's talking about context-based teaching learning, and she's talking about authentic teaching learning, using authentic materials, giving the authentic ideas. Otherwise, you see, if we are giving things which are from the ideal world, like say earlier we used to have texts which talked about characters of Mary and John and a swallow in the wintry climate, we do not have snow over here. Now the textbooks have changed to at least you see Sham and Farzan, and we have probably our own birds. So we actually are trying to get them know the real things. And of course, you see, teaching and learning should reach to the areas and to the places where they stay. Like say, if a child comes from a rural background, what do we do if we teach them about, you see, at least in literature? I'm not talking about, yes, ma'am teaches history, somebody teaches geography, where they need to know, of course, the Arctic region, but at least they should know their real life, their real context. So that is something which we all should do. And of course, what I gather from my co-panelists, they are all talking about project-based application, which I think Hiram sir was talking about just moments ago, that we need to know the inverted, we need to be a part of the upper part of the pyramid of Bloom's taxonomy, where we are talking about application-based education. With that, I think I'll ask my co-panelist again, Madhumita Sengupta ma'am, to take up.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Very good afternoon to all of you. And it's a proud privilege to be part of this esteemed panel. Being the last panelist, most of the points have been discussed. So what I'm trying to do is just sum up what we as educators think about transformation and rethinking and redevelopment of the education. Now, you know what, we have been training students to be ready for yesteryears and not for the future. Because what we have envisioned in our own classrooms is not what they are going to be seeing in the present time as well as the future time. So I'll just speak in very vivid points. If I'm talking about transformation, I'll touch upon 4 kinds of transformation. First is personal transformation, which education should be doing. Personal transformation in learners would mean that they will think about emotional intelligence side by side the content-driven learning which the education system today harps upon. We will actually have to think of, I think Ma'am Mishra was talking about a part of personal transformation where the student moves out and feels the empathy and the pain of fellow citizens. That is part of social transformation, where you are empathetic, where you understand equity, where you understand justice. And education is the platform which plants those seeds of equity and justice. If the education system doesn't allow all students of all diverse background to get the best of transformative learning, then we do not get a global citizen with that kind of quality. Next is economic transformation. Here again, one of my co-panelists had mentioned that it is not about making a student career ready. What job are we making them ready for? Why aren't we emphasizing that they should be the ones who will create more jobs for the future? Because innovation is that is going to strengthen our economic background of a nation. And a nation which celebrates innovation, which celebrates entrepreneurial thinking, is the nation which is going to move far, far ahead. And the 4th kind of transformation is again what Ma'am Mukherjee was mentioning, is global transformation, where we are thinking about being global citizens, when we are thinking about critical events like Ma'am mentioned about climate change. How are we responsible and what we are going to be doing? Ma'am also talked about asking the right question. It's not what, but the how question, which is more important. Now, if I talk about what we can be doing as educators in the current time, looking forward and not looking backward, there could be transformation in curriculum design. Without being content-driven, we are looking at creating a curriculum which would be more thought-provoking, which would be more analytical, and which would be more, to do with critical thinking and decision-making. Then if you're talking about assessments, See, it's when we were talking about education pattern in Finland, definitely it's a pattern which is very close to our heart. Or as educationists, all of us would love to do that. But I am sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. I am an educator. I'm the principal of BDM International, a school of 7,500 students and more than 350 fellow educators. And we are located in the city of joy, that is Kolkata. And that's why I think my emotional quotient is a little high. So that's why I forgot to introduce myself. Now, when we are talking about, assessments, I'm part of school education, ma'am is part of college education, and then the university. There has to be a parity. If I am training a child in the level of school and then that student is moving ahead and getting into a college where admission is by marks, then I don't think where we are fitting in and where this discussion is going to take us. So that is another point, assessment. The examination pattern that exists, it is only judging one part. Judging is not a correct word, but in a populous country like ours, we are actually judging people by the marks that they are scoring and not the mettle that they are having within themselves. There are diverse learners and we are not acknowledging them. So that is one thing that we need to transform. And finally, it is not only a need of the hour, but I think it is our moral responsibilities that, students there, and I must say that you are far more intelligent compared to us, and if you can channelize your intelligence for creating a better world and not only for individual glory, because we are nothing if we stand alone. It has to be part of that bigger society and the bigger global nation that we have to create that kind of a world. So the students, the educators need to be focused and determined to the cause, and at all level, the leaders of the nation must create and ensure the creation of a system where such panel discussions do not just evolve at maybe 30 minutes before lunch and frizzle out after we have the dessert. Thank you so much.
Well said, ma'am. So we have moved beyond education, contextual education, thinking about authenticity. We are now talking about responsibility, and we are also talking about the sequence and the chain which we built from the schools, right, starting from the schools to the colleges and to the universities, how we kind of make them not only entrepreneurs, but we also make them very responsible entrepreneurs who would be contributing to the enrichment of not only their own local places, but also global. So, you see, with that, I think we finished the first round. We'll have about 5 minutes for ourselves. We can probably take also a few questions. So, I would again, you see, I begin from here and we could all take up. So, if we are then trying to define as to what we mean by transformation and rethinking the purpose of education, then again, taking all these together, we are talking about, therefore, education with the aid of technology, value-based education, education which gives us a holistic purpose, education which gives us employment, education which also helps us to become responsible citizens, education which also enables us to go and compete in the larger world, in the globe, and we are no less than the others. Let this competition remains, but we evolve as greater human beings, and it should be a very participatory kind of teaching learning. If you can contribute to this in just one sentence each, and then we can round up, and for the audience if they have any observations and comments. Ma'am?
Any question from the audience?
Ma'am, I think we can take...
Okay. See, since the main theme is regarding AI, so one quote all of us we have heard that Ati Sada Varjayet. So definitely when any topic comes to us, even we the educators, we put on ChatGPT because we are getting accustomed to it. But surely our knowledge gained from different sectors is important. So we shouldn't be slave of the technology, but we should use it aptly. So this is one takeaway. Yes, thank you.
I believe that I'll sum up this one word for transformation, that it should be from passive to active. It should be more dynamic as far as learning is concerned. Then I think we can make ourselves better individuals.
When I was coming in for this panel, I had a dialogue with my 21-year-old boy at home, and he said, "Mama, why are you going for the panel?" And I said, "You know what? I've got a very interesting topic." He said, "What will be the purpose? The people who are listening to you, will there be a take-home, a key takeaway, which will make a difference to their lives? If you feel it is, then only go and visit these panels, otherwise not." So for me, it's very, very important that education there has to be a purpose in mind, whether it is the students or the educators. If you are in this process, which is beautiful, there has to be a purpose. There has to be a meaning. If there isn't, and if you don't find, I think we should change our jobs.
The World Economic Forum, they, in their recent survey, had published that by 2027, there are these 4 skills which would be highly applauded. That is, first is analytical thinking, creative thinking, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. In a similar survey, it's seen that, it's about 19% of the top level of educational institutions or institutions on the whole are in a complete know-how of this technological transformation and keep themselves updated. What I am trying to hint at is that when we are there trying to facilitate the learning of this generation learners, it is very important for ourselves to upgrade our skills and make ourselves relevant in today's time. So each day should be a new lesson for us, and we should not think that, okay, I must know it all and I do not have to upgrade my skills. So that way it is never going to be helpful for anybody. And with that, I think I'll end here. Thank you so much.
I think our panel has almost included everything. My very esteemed co-panelists, can we add just one more idea? That you see, there's this very old saying, healthy mind and a healthy body. So probably we can also think about how you see we include the idea of bettering our bodies. We have this International Yoga Days nowadays also in the curriculum. So can this transforming education also include, you see, bettering the bodies along with the minds as well as sharpening our skills? I think we are done. We have just about 5 minutes time if the audience have any observations or any questions or any queries to us as a panel. Anybody wants to contribute? Just about 1 or 2 observations. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon to all the esteemed panelists. I'm Dr. Abhijit Nair. I'm the CEO of the Academic Group of Institutes. First of all, thank you for the value additions and lofty ideals. My one thought process is that now we are living in not only a paradigm shift that is happening in education, but it's a systematic shift. What was unknown 5 years back, it is known today. Now we are living such a world which is now called a Barney world, brittle, answers, non-linear and incomprehensible. What is going to happen in next 1 year, we do not know. Oh, the things are changing very fast. So as an educator, right now in front of me, right from school education to college education, everybody is sitting here. What are the 3 qualities that you would like the student to develop so that they do not get into an existential quandary that many of us are getting into because of this seismic change that is happening? So can you list out 3 qualities that through psychological scaffolding or some other method of teaching you want to imbibe in the students? Thank you.
Would you please contribute? Yes.
I think they should be capable of being more empathetic, towards the situation, where they can relate themselves to the situation. That is very, very important. And they should be a part of the social change for betterment. That quality has to be imbibed. This is what I feel.
Yes. The three important points which you shared. First, this current generation, they actually, they are not able to wait for the time. That is, they want everything ready-made. And the latest technology is helping them out. So first thing which they should imbibe is doing hard work. Then doing the hard work continuously, that is being consistent. And one important thing which the youth, they have to imbibe is resilience. Bouncing back from any defeat. Success or defeat, they are like just two sides of the coin. If two players are playing, one will win, one will learn for future. He'll not be defeated. He'll learn for future. So don't take anything that too much to heart, because life gives us an opportunity. At particular point of time, we need to perform at our best. So to the youth, it is important that you are being served with many things which probably our generation couldn't get. But please don't misuse it or use it in such a way that in the long run gives benefit to you. Yes, one of my co-panelists wants to share.
Yes, I just add on to something. There's information overload, and there is disruptive technology. I think what we need to warn the youth is about their mental health. And the point was touched upon a little while back by Indira ma'am herself. Mental health is of utmost importance, and we must also be part. Like, it is not only that you take care of your mental health and I am an observer from outside. We have to be part of that entire system. And we have a lot of confidence. We need to express that when we are talking to the youth.
Ma'am, if you could be brief.
Yes,
I mean, we are running
and
out
the
of
second
time.
point which I feel is that they should be mindful of people's skill. There's so much of social media that the human touch is missing. I think that we need to remind them every time.
Okay, I think we don't have any more time. Yes. Thank you all and the entire audience. Thank you, the organizers. And I think.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
your
so
patience
much.
listening.
Thank you.